Hi, welcome back to the Personal Details Podcast. I'm your host, 3, and I'm so glad you're joining me today. In today's episode, our guest says, more love and less paperwork. She is just one of the many women that will be featured this week in celebration of Women's History Month. If you've been following my Instagram page, you can see from the green posts that I'm featuring a woman just about every week, sometimes two. If you're not already following, head on over to @the Personal Details Podcast on Instagram. Inside my bio is links to all the things that I'm putting a hand to and trying my hand at. So, without further ado, let's get into the show. We're going to feature our affirmation, then followed by our Crystal Gem Zone, the music segment, and of course, our featured guests. I appreciate you listening. Here we go. The affirmation for today goes like this. I open my heart and mind to be aware the things I see in others could be the very things they see in me. Chances are that when you nail someone on their stuff, they are going to get angry. When in the most innocent way you touch upon a person's insecurity, inadequacy, the place where they are most wounded, they are going to attack you. When that happens, all of your stuff is going to come up. Every little thing you ever believed was wrong with you is going to rush into the forefront of your mind, and you will begin to doubt the validity of what you think and feel. It's extremely difficult to hold on to a sense of personal power as long as you believe there is something wrong with who you are. As long as you believe that who you are is wrong, or what you want and need is wrong, you will be daunted by every challenge. You will be broken by every criticism. Most important of all, you will eventually become unable to tell the difference between your stuff and someone else's stuff. This is not a good thing. Each of us is aware of some things that we can do better. The fact that some things need improvement does not mean it's wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. A negative response to someone else does not mean you should doubt yourself. It means that you must always be aware. Just because you are defective does not mean you cannot see the defects around you. You always have the right to address what you see and feel. Until today, you may have allowed what you believe is wrong with you to prevent you from addressing conditions, situations, and people who do or say things that you believe are inappropriate. Just for today, be determined not to allow feelings or wrongness to keep you silent. The affirmation is, today, I am devoted to moving beyond any feelings of wrongness to do and say what I believe is the right thing for me. Let's say that again. Today, I am devoted to moving beyond any feelings of wrongness to do what the affirmation is. Today, I am devoted to moving beyond any feelings of wrongness to do and say what I believe is the right thing for me. Say it with me. Today, I am devoted to moving beyond any feelings of wrongness to do and say what I believe is the right thing for me. Thank you. I don't know if I mentioned earlier this month, but the month of March is about awareness. Open your mind, open your eyes, open your heart. If the eyes of your mind and heart are not fully opened, there could be some love that you are not aware is present. How appropriate is that? So basically, you know how sometimes you say you find out someone had like a crush or a like on you, and you're like, I never saw that coming. So that's what that basically says. Open our hearts, open our minds. Sometimes the love of our lives might be in a text or someone we see every day at work, after work, walking home, on the bus. Not so much these days, but it might be someone you see on a Zoom call that you find interesting and your eye just keeps going to the corner of the screen and looking at them. So, since we're doing so many things through Zoom these days, right? So, that's just a quick reminder to keep your eyes and heart open, even in this lovely pandemic.
Really takes also some reevaluation of your ideas and your relationship with abundance and money and things like that, right? There's a lot of guilt when you don't want to take insurance, right? Oh my goodness, you're not making yourself available to everybody in the community. But when you can charge a rate that honors your work, and allows you to work less time so that you could spend more time volunteering and doing meaningful work in the community or donation-based work in the community, it's a different thing.
That was a preview of today's guest. Keep listening. We're almost at the guest segment. And now for our next segment, the Crystal Zone. Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Crystal Gem Zone. This is the segment in the episode where I choose a gem and what it stands for and how it can enhance our lives. So today's gem is citrine. Citrine is pale yellow in color, and that's kind of where it gets its name. It looks like a pale yellow glass. Citrine comes from the French citron, meaning lemon. But apart from its literal meaning, citrine has a deep spiritual meaning as well. The spiritual meaning of citrine in its yellow hues symbolizing the spiritual qualities of joy, abundance, and transformation. Like a fresh glass of lemonade, citrine can bring a quick, energetic pick-me-up to those who use it with diligence and respect. In times of low to moderate stress, citrine is a perfect ally for realigning your energies back into balance. In contrast with other powerful crystals, it may be necessary to be more profound healings. But don't let that discourage you from its importance, for citrine knows that it is there in these first initial moments of confusion and dismay where we can most easily calibrate our energies and move back into true paths. Citrine is known as the merchant's stone due to its ability to transmute energies quickly and easily, facilitating transfers of energy from one to another. Citrine represents spiritual joy since it spreads positive energetic light around its aura, and it's said to be the one of the only two crystals which do not need to be recharged or purified. With that in mind, you can use it as an excellent tool to bring positive energies to areas where you might have or suspect to have negative energies, spirits, or even ghosts. So there you have it. Citrine, pale yellow in color, looks like glass like a glass of lemonade. It can be dark in color. But for your own information, you can check out meanings, crystals, and jewelry.com. So that's where I got this information. The meaning, properties, and powers of crystals is what they tell you about. So that's meaning, crystals, and jewelry.com. And then you can look up the gem that you would like to. Also, if you're looking for a local place to pick up your crystals, gems, and other spiritual supplies, check out the Perez Sisters NYC Instagram page. They are the proprietors of Botanical Spiritual Shop. Right now, I believe they are doing some pickup, store pickup. So please give them a visit or at least visit their Instagram pages and support them, because at this point in time we need all the support our communities can give. And I want to make sure to take the time and do that. And if, as this Crystal Gem Zone can support someone, all the better. I am not an expert. You should do your research. But sometimes when we hear about things, it leads us to look for other things. So do with it what you must. And again, check out Botanical Metaphysical Boutique, an alternative to it's it's helpful for as an alternative to holistic health. To make an appointment, email the Perez Sisters NYC at gmail.com or call 646-389-1036. Visit botanical.com or on Instagram, the Perez Sisters NYC. I hope this Crystal Zone has been a great experience for you. Again, you can always send me messages on Instagram or via email and let me know what's a gem you would like me to speak about. Bye for now. I hope you enjoyed the extra time put into that Crystal Gem Zone. Many of you have given me feedback that you really like learning about the different crystals and what they're great for. So I took a little extra time and gave you more information. And now we continue on with the show. So my podcast is not really a political pop culture type of podcast. But I do want to say, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Welcome to the music segment. The legendary Allison Hinds. That is Faluma from her 2007 Soca Queen album. Allison Hinds is also featured on my Instagram page this week as one of our women in history. So it's so funny how this happened to come into my circle. We're virtual at work and we're using Teams, and someone tagged me and brought it to my attention that Allison Hinds was the featured woman this week for Women's History Month. So of course I jumped on it. I featured her on my Instagram page, and I also, of course, decided to make her the music feature. So I feel like she's a woman contributing to history, especially a woman of Caribbean descent, which is so exciting to me because, in Soca, if you look at it, if you're familiar, there's not a lot of women, and I feel like she's come a long way, and has been here for a long time, and has adjusted to different things. So shout out to Allison Hinds. This music segment's guest star. And the other song that she has is Roll It Gal. And we're going to leave with that one. Celebrate women of all cultures in Women History Month. My hope is to bring you guests that will help you build your personal toolkit, especially in this time of COVID. So without further ado, we're going to get into our guest. Here we go.
God, I miss me.
Okay, and welcome to the Personal Details Podcast. We have a dear special treat, someone with lots of energy that I want to welcome and give her a chance to introduce herself. Like I said, for the month of March, we are featuring women who are doing the thing and contributing to communities. So without further ado, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for that amazing welcome. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lauren Perez. I am a holistic psychotherapist practicing out of Mamaroneck, New York. I am currently working on bringing a marriage of alternative healing modalities to traditional psychotherapy and opening awareness of just, multiple tools that are available to us for our own healing and our regaining of inner power. So that's a really exciting thing to be breaking out of traditional psychotherapy and honoring it because we're bringing it with us, but also expanding it, which it's really been done over time, right? A theory has been taken and explored and expanded. And so I'm feeling really excited about the exploration of new things.
Okay. So I know before we started recording, you mentioned that you move unlike traditional therapists. So if you could just expand on that. So traditionally, therapists either they're taking insurance, they have a lot of, in speaking with other ones, they have a lot of paperwork. So how is your practice a little bit different?
Well, my practice is a little different in many ways. I one of the things that I also do is that I'm a Reiki practitioner, which is an energy healing modality that I use in my work. I don't take insurance, and the reason I don't take insurance is because insurance limits what you can bring into the treatment room, and so a lot of it is what they call evidence based now, and has what they call measurable outcomes, right? So they want you to use certain thought modalities, mostly behaviorally based modalities, and they want change to happen within a certain time. And what we know about things is that they ebb and they flow. And I think to put a time limit on that and to put pressure on that is something that is stressful in the treatment room. And so the reason I don't take insurance is because I don't like to be limited by anything. What makes me happy as a professional is less paperwork, because what I think the world needs is more love and less paperwork, for sure. But it also allows my clients to have access to different tools that are not traditionally offered. Shout out to traditional psychotherapy, which is what I like about what I'm able to do is to recognize the limit when talking isn't enough, and then being able to use alternative strategies. Like sometimes our energy fields are a little blocked. We get some trauma, and we work it out on a physical level, but there's an energetic space that needs clearing. And so for clients that are into that kind of modality, I can use Reiki during my sessions. Reiki is something also I do as a separate modality outside of psychotherapy for clients, that want to come in for that modality alone. But I can use that in a room if we're feeling like we have talked it out, that's not working out. We can look at the energy field together. Um, and I also use hypnosis in my treatment, which I think is an amazing thing. I think we often get caught on scripts that repeat, right? We re-traumatize ourselves in small ways over time, unbeknownst to us. We don't do these things on purpose, but they happen. And so we formulate these stories, these scripts in our mind, and they're really difficult to unroot sometimes. And so talking sometimes exacerbates those things, right? We often keep repeating the story, and when we repeat it, more and more trauma gets added to the list of things that we need to work on. And so what I love about hypnosis is that it allows you to go to a deeper level of concentration in the mind that makes you more receptive to changing that script.
Or is there anything you would tell someone trying to do this?
We're going to pause right there and be right back. This podcast is brought to you by my other venture, 3 Made It Crochet. If you're looking for something unique, colorful, one of a kind, handmade hat, scarf, or bag, check out 3 Made It Crochet at 3 Made It Crochet on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been quite a ride. I'll tell you that in order to do this, you really have to believe in your vision, and I'll encourage you to continue to believe in your vision, even on days when you feel like it's not working out. It is certainly not as stable to start out as a traditional job, but it's also extremely inspiring. I think that my worst or my most fearful or unstable looking day working for myself has been better than some of my best days in a traditional clinic setting. And shout out to a traditional clinic setting too, because so much of my community work has formed who I am as a clinician. And it's work that I absolutely, absolutely, absolutely love. You just have to believe it.
Giving
hard.
permission.
You have to see it. You have to visualize it. That's another thing I'll say to someone who wants to do this. Spend time every day visualizing this dream, visualizing this dream. I'm talking to you right now from Puerto Rico. I am working remotely from Puerto Rico this month, which is something I get to do because I asked my boss, which is myself, and I gave myself permission to go. And because of that, I can do inspired work. I can get up really early in the morning and go by the beach and recharge myself so that when it's time to sit with my client, I can give them my entire inspired best self because I'm in the best possible position to charge myself up. And this is a trip that I believed in, that I visualized in so hard. The universe opened doors to make this happen for me in such unbelievable ways, for me to have this month to do this, to pour into myself, to pour into my work. And I'll just tell you to believe it. So you have to visualize it every day, visualize it every day, set a time every day to ask for it. I love 11/11. 11/11 is a beautiful time for manifestation. And so think about it really hard, visualize it, see it. If you're asking for something like this to be at on a beach in warm weather, spend some time with your eyes closed, taking some nice deep breaths and imagining that weather, feeling the sun on your skin, hearing the waves, smelling the salt.
I'm there.
Like you're already there. Yes. And the universe will say, oh, wait a minute. We got our wires crossed. Let's take you out that cold weather. Hold on. And amazing things will happen, but you got to believe it. That's the trick. You got to believe it. You have to believe it.
Absolutely. You are so right. So right. Because I've been meaning for a while to reach out to you. So the fact that I reached out, you was like, sure. And then here we are days later was so quick and amazing to me. But it's funny because you're right. I've done the work. I've been like, I definitely want to
feature her. I see the things that she's doing and getting this practice started, and it looked different. And a friend of mine, Myrna, definitely said, yeah, you got to talk to her. She's doing different things. So
Yes.
I'm just so, you're right. You have to believe it. You have to. And the other thing I have to do that I realize works also is writing things down. I write it down,
Yes.
I stick it up, and I see it all the time. And so I'm totally there with you on that one, for real.
Yes. Write these affirmations, write these visualizations, put them everywhere. When you're gonna go get a late night snack, open the door, put that joint on the inside of the refrigerator door. Put it on the back of the bathroom door when you're tinkling. Look at it there. Put it on your mirror. And also, really take some time to like breathe into the visualization. I find it, I got so excited as I started this podcast, I forgot to tell you the name of my practice. So this is something I just changed it from. I started out with Work the Wellness, which will remain my corporation name. It's something I say in my sessions all the time, that you have to work the wellness, because this is not a passive, healing is not a passive act, right? You have to go and sit down and do the breathing. You have to sit down and do the meditating. You have to eat all the good things. You have to do all the exercise, right? So it's not a passive thing. Wellness is something you have to work. And so that'll remain my corporation name. But I actually just recently changed my practice name to Respira Therapy, which means to breathe. And so if you could breathe into your visualizations, if you could breathe into every moment, you'll find that you can really make space. If you can make space in your lungs, you can make space in your life, you can make space in your vibration, you can make space in limited thoughts you've been having. It's an amazing thing what the breath can do.
Wow. And who would you say have been some of your inspirations, your cheerleaders in doing this
Okay.
work?
So you mentioned Myrna Noble. Shout out to Myrna Noble. This is an example about following your dream. Myrna is someone I connected with on a Clinicians of Color and private practice group on Facebook, and who has just been a light and inspiration, a constant encouragement. She doesn't even know this. I have moments and I'm like, I wonder what the next step is. And while I'm reminding myself not to wonder and just to flow, Myrna will pop up with a text or an email like, hey, how are you? How you doing? What do you think about this opportunity? Hey, I was thinking about private practice and I'm thinking you might want to try this. So shout out to Myrna Noble. I think one of my biggest cheerleaders also through this process has been my mom. My mom has been really supporting me. Shout out to the motorcycles in Puerto Rico who are very, very loud and want to communicate that they're here and present. So I want to let that person know that we see you, we hear you. So shout out to my mom, who has really been a supportive presence on so many levels. I've called my mom at 2 a.m, like, Mom, and she's like, don't worry, you got this. You have been manifesting so far. You've been making this happen. Don't interrupt the flow. The universe is gonna get confused. Like, all right, Mom. I also want to give a huge shout out to my partner, Carlos Mercado, who is the owner of Taino Vision. He's an amazing photographer, filmmaker, songwriter, musician. He's been extremely supportive during this whole process. He's been taking professional photos of me for my website, making sure that we capture moments that are helpful for content on social media. So he's been extremely supportive as well. My family, my godmothers. Shout out to BG Ramos, Carol and Julian, also been extremely supportive. My Uncle Ivan, and my puppy Ace. Can I talk? Shout out to my puppy Ace real quick, who sits in all of my sessions. He sits in all of my therapy sessions, whether they're virtual or in person, and he's actually amazing in-person Reiki. Once I start the flow of the Reiki energy, he jumps onto the table with my clients and like lays down and comforts them. And he actually, I've noticed lately, he started like kind of crawling up the body to the places where I feel the most current for the client. It's really an amazing thing. It's like a little medicine dog.
Yes.
So yeah, so a lot of people have been extremely supportive to me through this process. There have been people that I have met, strangers online on Facebook, you know, helping me find, you know, ways to improve viewers and Instagram algorithms and all kinds of things you don't think about when you're just kind of a therapist in the room, right? And now I'm like, wait a minute, what is a reel? That looks fun. I think I kind of want to do that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to. They didn't teach you that. They didn't have reels. They didn't teach you reels in social work school.
Yes, that's something different for sure. So anyone out there who's accustomed to traditional in person and you want to transfer to like maybe more virtual, you gotta. There's a learning curve there. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. But the beautiful thing is that this can be done from anywhere. Hypnosis can be done remotely. Reiki can be done remotely. Therapy can be done remotely. There's so much space now for new things. And so this is a really beautiful creative time as I start to carve my own therapeutic space. The world is also shifting in a way that makes so many more things possible. So it's a really exciting time to birth new ideas and to go out on faith. And just another tip for going out on faith. You know, sometimes people think that it's not just as easy as wishing it or believing that you already have something. So I don't want to challenge folks. I want to give people a gentle invitation. Go out and try it. Go out and decide that today, for example, people and situations are going to respond to you in ways that are remarkable and impressive on levels that have never happened before. Just go believe that. Like, really believe it. And take that to the test for like, let's not do it for a day. Let's do a week, just because so many amazing things can happen in a week. Agreed. Just go out there and believe that every day. Smugly expect it. Just expect good things. Oh my gosh, my dog. I'm so sorry.
No, I can totally agree. It looks like I have 3 minutes and 40 seconds, but those videos, the pictures, awesome. So shout out to Taino Vision. You look great on social media. I'm like, oh, does she take these herself? Well, good to know who's behind the camera. So.
Yes. You can be followed on Taino Vision on Instagram.
I was gonna say, does he have an Instagram? Good to know. We'll put it in the show notes so that folks can check him out, because if you check out Lauren's page, you definitely will see the pictures as an example of his work. So head on over there, check them both out. Can you please tell us again your Instagram page?
Absolutely. So my Instagram page is @Respira Therapy, @RESPIRA Therapy. Same thing for Facebook. It's Respira Therapy on Facebook as well. I can also be contacted on email. It's lperezlcsw@gmail. I have a listing on cliniciansofcolor.org. I also have a listing on ZenCare.
Come on, girl. Woo! It's funny. So funny.
And wait for it. Respiratherapy.com coming soon.
Yes. Coming soon. Okay. I feel you on that one. Oh my gosh. This has been amazing to hear and inspiring, actually, to believe what you want. You can put it out there. And it just reminds me to do that more. So I thank you for that and for sharing your details from Puerto Rico, no less. Girl, if I end up in Puerto Rico or anywhere warm, it's coming from just remembering that you reminded me to put it out there.
Absolutely. If you come to Puerto Rico, if anybody comes to Puerto Rico for the entire month of March, please come catch these hands. Get yourself some Reiki out here. It is amazing.
Yes.
Reiki by the beach, supercharged by that salt air.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
so you heard
there's
it.
Nothing like that.
You heard it. Definitely check her out. You can check for her. And of course, I follow her on Instagram. So you can also check that out on my page. Um, is there anything else I wanted you to cover? Mm, no, that's it. So you're a scuba diver, Reiki, hypnotist. Oh my goodness, doing it all. I love it. And I can't wait to see what else is to come because you're doing it your way. You're doing it without the boundaries and it's inspiring. Definitely.
I'm looking for, it's an incredible thing. I really love to be able to do something different. I love traditional psychotherapy. It's the root of what brought me here. And I love that I can honor it by adding to it, and that I can also bring it to communities who have traditionally felt distrustful of healing
Mm,
modalities and therapy, and for good reason.
true.
Especially our communities, people of color, right, who have been historically misled and mistreated by medical and psychotherapeutic systems. And these thought paradigms, these theories that we're using are not culturally inclusive.
Piggyback off of what you said, your community work, which in knowing you, I know is important to you, a way to give back to the community. So, how else do you use your energies?
Well, so here's the other thing that I get to love about working for myself. I get to continue my volunteer work. I've been a volunteer diver for the New York Aquarium for a little over 2 years now. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. It's been such a beautiful time. And so every other Friday, I am usually found at the New York Aquarium in a tank somewhere, playing with some kids. One of my favorite pastimes is rock, paper, scissors with some young kids out from inside the tank. And then our actual job is to maintain the cleaning of the tank so that the fish stay healthy. And the tanks are
Oh,
beautiful for the
that's
visitors.
how they do it. Okay.
Yeah, that's how they do it. The aquarium is 100+ human filtration system, in addition
Wow.
to some filtration systems that they already have built in.
Wow. I just
Um,
learned something new today.
oh yeah, so I remembered my thought with the community work. Shout out to traditional community work. I never regret a day that I spent inside of a clinic, ever, 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 of a traditional clinic. All of the adults, families, young people I've ever worked with have formed absolutely who I am as a clinician, and my treatment modality. I've been inspired by them to do this, because what I wanted to provide was a space where people have the time um, and and um, ability to be heard.
Hmm.
When you're in a traditional clinic, you're seeing people for 30 minutes every half hour, right? um, Back to back to back. And
Mm.
it makes it really, really difficult for you to give your entire self to the person before you. And this work is sacred. You're holding space for people, and you have to be able to do that. You have to have an overflowing cup so that you can share with them. And in a traditional clinic setting, that's a very difficult thing. Caseloads are very high, time is limited. And
Mhm.
so my love for my community and for my work is what inspired me to take this leap, because I wanted to provide a space where both of us on either side of that table, because we're just human beings, right?
Right.
On either side of the table. That's all we are. We're just throwing a little love, a little experience, a little knowledge at this thing together. That's all we're doing, right? And
Yep.
so we both have to be in a space to be able to share that together. Um, and so, yeah, it's quite a ride. What I would say to anybody who wants to go out on this is to follow what inspires you.
Mhm.
That's not traditional. We are taught to be safe, right? Grow up, get this job, get a
Right.
steady paycheck,
Mhm.
put money away for retirement. It's that check is gonna be there every 2 weeks like clockwork. I'll tell you, that is not what it's like when you go out on business. But it's also extremely inspired.
It is.
And you'll find that when you follow what lights your heart up, the universe will open doors to pave the way in really unexpected ways. And you don't even have to ask it so much. You just have to follow the vibration that just lights your heart up, and the universe will do the rest. That is not asking, it is giving permission to the universe to open doors for you. I'm really grateful to be able to honor my roots of traditional psychotherapy by adding to it in a way that also honors the alternative needs of people, especially in my community, bringing this to people in my community, especially people of color, right, who have traditionally been misled and mistreated by medical systems, and who have been historically treated by a psychological framework that doesn't honor culture.
Exactly.
And so,
or has created worse trauma because
yes,
not understanding the culture, not
yes,
understanding what someone might be going through, or alternative healing practices.
right. And also pathologizing, parts of our culture, right? Like Latinos historically have beliefs about the afterlife, where sometimes, we hear voices of our ancestors, right, advising us, coming back to advise us. And in the wrong treatment room, that's all of a sudden right? It's all of a sudden a disorder. Now you are psychotic. Now you're hearing things, right? And so
Yes.
when you're in a space that understands your culture and how that contributes to you as a person and to your spirit, now you're talking about a different thing. And so being able to create a space for people to be without a pedagogy and without a label, and to also help them access their inner power, their inner dopeness, and free themselves. It's a beautiful thing. It's something
And
I'm really grateful for.
and thank you for being part of that movement, because it is a definite shift that we need. We need to
Yes,
see people that look like us, and we need to see people that understand us, because that's, I think, part of what keeps people away, you know?
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I get to bring who I am to it, right?
Love
I
it.
am a New Yorkua, right? From the Bronx. And so I get to bring that into my treatment room. So when I shift and move in my treatment room, it could sometimes look like a little shimmy. It can look like my hands moving around all over the place, right? Little head shaking, moving, bopping. And so when my clients do the same thing, it's also something that validates who they are and their behavior, and normalizes it. I remember I was doing a video shoot, and I was advised not to move my hands so much. And I'm like, well, shoot, there's some sessions I darn near jump in my chair when we've reached a milestone and it's something worth celebrating. I'm damn near hopping in that thing. So, to be able to be in a space where I can be myself, or my clients can be themselves, where we can, throw love, throw energy, throw theory, throw experience, throw just some humanity at it. It's a really beautiful thing.
Agreed. And I'm so glad we got to get that part in, because that is gravy. You know what's funny? So
Yeah.
I usually get the title for for the show out of the conversation. So what I got out of today is more love, less paperwork.
Ashe.
Right? I wrote it down. I said, that's the title right there.
Love it.
Woo! I love it. More love. Definitely put that on your, because that is what, yeah, that's what you're doing. And I think it's inspiring for clients, but it's also inspiring for the next generation of um therapists that are coming. They need to know that there's another way. It might be a little hard, but there's another way to bring yourself and actually a service that is so needed to the community. So I appreciate just this conversation.
Yeah, and to follow that, it really takes also some reevaluation of your ideas and your relationship with abundance and money and things like that, right? There's a lot of guilt when you don't want to take insurance, right? Oh my goodness, you're not making yourself available to everybody in the community. But when you can charge a rate that honors your work, and allows you to work less time so that you could spend more time volunteering and doing meaningful work in the community or donation-based work in the community, it's a different thing. But you have to really start to reevaluate your relationship to money and worthiness, which is something that, we have to undo ancestrally. Historically, our cultures have had difficulty receiving abundance, thinking that we are worth abundance.
Or working to death to achieve something.
That's right. And so really following this through requires a lot of breaking of what you thought you knew worked.
Yes. You know what's funny? Breaking that keeps coming up. Okay. Breaking the cords and also breathing keeps coming up. Keeps coming up for me.
Yes. Well, breathing, that beat up therapy, baby.
That's what I said. When I saw the name, I was like, say word. No. So it's all about alignment. Thank you again. And this was awesome. We have to do it again.
Please, this would
down
be
the
amazing.
line.
So beautiful sharing with you.
Enjoy your time.
Thank you.
I wish you much success. And I always knew you was going to be successful. Remember from a long time ago, meeting you as a young lady. Oh my God. Oh, it makes me so proud to be like, I know her.
Yay. Thank you. It makes me proud to know you. I've been looking up to you since the other side of the line.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Good night and take care.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you so much, Dre. Love you, number.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
So let me give you a bit of personal details of how I know Lauren. I met Lauren when she was a young lady. I met her through a Muévete conference. She was a group of some high schoolers that came to the conference, and you can look it up for more back history, but she was a young activist back then. She was a goal setter and a person that spoke her mind. Very energetic lady from the Bronx. And then I encountered her again at a community service walk. So I was like, this young lady's about her business and about making change and contributing to the community. And which is another reason I reached out to her, because our circles kept aligning. So I met her in high school at a conference. I met her later, still in high school, at a community service walk. And then later, as she went on to college, encountered her again when she became a part of our sorority that we both share. So yeah, Lauren's also a Sia. But yeah, isn't it funny how life connects you to people? So I already saw in her the shining light of like an activist, a change maker when she was in high school. She's gone on, and of course since finished college, etc. But we just vibe. I like her realness, and she's a go-getter. She's always doing more than one thing. So that's the backstory of how I knew Lauren, and I appreciate her, seeing her where she's come and doing therapy her way and putting in the spiritual and the cultural. Applause to you. I'm very proud of you. Congratulations and much success on all the things you try to do and bring into this practice. I forgot about the other way that I also got reminded of Lauren is through our next podcast guest, returning guest, Myrna Noble of Counseling Works. So, as you can see, the connections start forming. I've known Myrna for 20 plus years, and we met in college. And so that's that connection. And I just say that to say the people that you encounter today, or if you're in high school or you're in college, new to college, then make sure you're making lasting, meaningful impressions. I'm not saying go out of your way, but there are some people when you feel that spark that you're connecting with someone, go with it. Trust your gut. And also keep in touch with people that you see are already ready to have their own voice in society and make a difference. If that's your lane, just saying. So I applaud the fact that Myrna, to come full circle, says, "Hey, I met a sorority sister of yours, Lauren. This is a couple of years back, actually, or earlier last year." And she's like, who is she? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, how interesting. And I told Myrna, like, we both encountered her when she was in high school. She came to a Muévete conference because Myrna was also one of the organizers of that. So shout out to Muévete for that connection and its creators from back in the day. Very great youth conference. That's where I met a lot of the people that I'm still reconnecting with today. Empowering youth, I guess, has always been part of my professional and personal circle. And so I guess that's just come full circle for me right now. So but yeah, Myrna says, "Hey, I know Lauren. Do you know her?" Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, sorority sister, blah blah blah." Here we go. I'm telling Myrna all about my Women's History Month and guests that I should reach out to, because each one teach one, each one tell one. So she says, "Hey, check out Lauren. She's doing different things in therapy." I was like, "Okay." So I hit her up. I think maybe earlier that week, she booked her date, which was like almost immediate. And you just heard the story. So I appreciate all the people in my circle who connect the dots with each other organically. A lot of times, there's a lot of segments in my life, personal, professional, community, and sometimes they align organically. I don't try to align them, but sometimes they do. So that's my interesting little personal detail about our guest today. Again, thank you, Lauren. Much success. Please check the show notes for her information. And you can find, I'm also following her page on Instagram. So definitely follow me, follow her, and get the word out there about Respirite. Hi, folks. So we have come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for being with me again on another episode of the Personal Details Podcast. I'm your host, 3. I will see you on the next episode where we're featuring one of our very special return guests. Hopefully, she will become a continued member of the show. Once again, make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. But to help me spread the word about the podcast and help someone else out there with their personal details, share it with a friend. Again, our playlist on Spotify is called Play the Details. So the music featured on today's show and mentioned will also appear in the playlist. So you can listen to the show and then jam away to the playlist. I appreciate you listening, and I hope you come back again. If you have any other questions or information, you have something to share with the members of the listening audience,
You can send me a message through thepersonaldetails.com. You can book some time to speak with me, or if you're interested in crochet, definitely check out 3 Made It Crochet. Again, thanks for listening. Keep doing great things. Bye.